Welcome to today's episode of Behind the Needles. Today, I am with Nina Traster, the very busy but very happy and excited owner of iConcierge in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hello, Nina.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so
Thank you
excited.
for, yes, thank you for being on. I know that you are very, very busy and you're at the clinic right now, yes?
Yes.
It's almost 7 o'clock. You just finished with your patients. You're still there. You still have people that are getting treated by your team too. And so you may see Nina waving if you're watching this on YouTube. You may see her waving to some patients. So that's what's going on. But I'm excited to chat with you because I think that you have a very cool story. I think that you have a very interesting, unique dynamic also with the fact that you have a Nick. Nick is your husband, and I want to talk a little bit about how he came into the scope of things also and the dynamic between the two of you. But I want to first, I'd like to help everybody understand and know at the beginning of the episodes how you got into aesthetics and kind of where you're at. I think it's important to know everybody's origin story, if you will, because most people don't land in aesthetics straight out of whatever schooling they were going to. And the same is for you. You are a physician assistant and you were in family medicine, right?
Yep.
And in 2020, you made the jump into aesthetics. What month in 2020?
So I was doing both during that time. So I was working
Okay.
full-time family medicine, and honestly, I wasn't trying to own a business in aesthetics. I was just wanting to do Botox on friends and family, and I was doing it on the side. And I was basically 7 to 5 family medicine, and then after hours 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday at my little suite that I had in Clearwater. I did that until I believe December of 2021. And that is when I made the leap to be full time in the suite. But it was a lot of overlap.
Yeah, that's, I'm not a mathematician, but that's like 15 hours a day of work.
Of course, you have to think about it in the beginning when you start. You're getting your like certificates, you're trying it out here and there. You're really just trying to build up your clientele. It wasn't ever supposed to be where I am now. It just naturally unfolded. I was
Hmm.
seeing patients and the ones that came in, but I made sure after hours at the family medicine office, I would still go to my clinic that I made, my little suite, and work on my business. That was when I was trying to get my patients going. I would say it was more full time after hours, August 2021, and then to December 2021 was hardcore. I was there a lot every evening, and every Saturday and Sunday I was doing 7 to 7s.
Wow.
You know, I was doing events. I was going all over. I was doing Botox parties. Which is, I know, terrible. You can't say that word anymore, but I was doing events and trying to get my name out there because I really loved aesthetics. I love the idea of being able to do procedures and having more time with my patients. In family medicine, it's great. I love everything about wellness, and I love being able to be that person for my patient where I'm treating all their conditions and they have to have me guide them in the direction to make sure they get the best care. But I wasn't allowed to have that much time with them because it was insurance based. So I was seeing about like 40 patients a day, 30, 40. It just seemed like I lost that contact with patients, hence the name iConcierge. I did want to
Hmm.
be able to give that to my patients. So doing aesthetic treatments, yes, I got to get like my hands in it, and I really am that person that needs to be doing something with their hands. Maybe I have a little ADD or ADHD, but also being able to have that one-on-one with the patient and be alone with the patient in the room, get to know them, make sure I do the treatment plan. It's different than wellness, but it is still similar, right? You're addressing multiple areas of the face or their body and building them out a treatment plan and making sure you guide them the whole time, and having 30 minutes, or when you're in the beginning, which I always tell my new injectors, that's the best time to build the best patient relationship because you have an hour that they don't have with another clinic. And you take that time and you make sure that they feel heard, but also that they get the best treatment plan. So I don't know. I feel like that's where I felt more of myself lighting up when I was in that like treatment room during the time after family medicine. And then I knew that I had something, and I felt like I tried to do both for as long as I could. I even told my old provider that I would try to do both and have to do one half like part time, but that didn't fly. So I went full time in December. I think it was like December 21st of 2021, and then
Hmm.
after that, it just flourished, and it went really.
Yeah. So going back to the consultation process, when you were in family medicine, seeing 40-ish patients a day and working an 8 to 10 hour shift, I'm assuming, right?
Mhm.
How how did you have the thought to make that different? And I'm assuming it's impossible to do that where you have an hour-long
No,
consultation.
you get so in trouble. No, you literally have 15 minutes, 15 minutes or 30 minutes. It depends on the new patient, but it's hard because these are patients with chronic illnesses. They're all Medicare Advantage. They have multi-diagnoses, they have multi-medications, and they're coming to you for their 6-month follow-up on all their labs, all their consultations that they went to, all their imaging. And you have that 15 minutes or 30 minutes to go through everything, and also don't ask questions about their life that they're having, which they want to talk to you about because they're 65 and up, and you're probably the only person they've seen all year to talk about these things. So it's just during that time, you realize what your patient is wanting and wanting to hear from their provider. And it's basically, how are you doing besides your heart medications and everything? Make sure that's lined up, right? Like, is there other things going on? And I feel like there's so many things that could have been unwrapped in those appointments that weren't, and turned into other things that we see later on. We go
Hmm.
on a hospital visit because we forgot to talk about XYZ, and that ended up being something that was going to be an acute problem, right? I was also on call. So I was always on call. When I'm on call, I get the phone calls, and it would be things that we missed in the appointments because we didn't have the time. So I
Yeah.
think where I could feel the conversation being very clinical to the point where it wasn't warm for the patient to open up and tell us what really was going on.
So you felt that. Is that one of the main reasons why you left family medicine? Because of the
I really
timing
didn't want
constraints?
to leave. No, I really didn't want to leave. I actually, it was more that I had to make that decision between, is insurance based what I want to do, where I don't get to have the time with the patients and also have the ability to prescribe what I want to prescribe, have the ability to do what I want to do with the patient care and the treatments, right? Also, again, I'll say it one more time, I like using my hands. So in family medicine, you're not doing a lot of procedures. So I
Yeah.
think that's what was more getting that I would like spark up the second I got to do like an abscess, like a IND. I got to like slice and swish stuff out. And I'm like, ooh, I got to inject lidocaine. Like I knew I needed to do more. And when I started doing like Botox on the side, I felt like I had a lot more like control of the treatment plans and felt like I was able to do more for the patients. It felt more like
Yeah.
I could use my skills more than just like, oh, I know I have to inject this much lidocaine, slice and get rid of it. Like it wasn't fulfilling, right? Like doing
Yeah.
things where you don't see the before and after right away or the results right away. So I think I
Yeah.
had a couple things going that I knew I wasn't in the right spot completely.
Yeah. And so you started to inject just because it felt like you would scratch that itch to do something with your hands.
There's like a couple of things where aesthetics became something I looked into. My like if we look at my college degree, I was a bachelor's of biomedical science, but I also had a minor in studio art. So I actually loved art, and I did a lot with art, and I felt that I needed to do something creative. And when I was doing the Botox and fillers, I realized there was way more ability to be creative with the patient, right? And still
Yeah.
use the science part of my brain from my degree. So I think it's like it naturally found me when I was doing it, that I was like, wait a second, I have a lot more autonomy here as a PA, being able to make my own decisions on these injections and change how a patient looks, right? And combining it with a possible business. So I think that they kind of started coming together in my brain. It
Hmm.
was still like not clear, crystal clear, until I made the big jump. And I feel like that, and bringing on more treatments, and also honestly going out and getting trained, I feel like I spent all my money, all the money that was coming in was going right out for trainings and understanding that there's a whole industry of people that are like-minded. I think that's
Hmm.
where it's different. Like family medicine, I don't think you have this much of an industry of people that are like, I don't even know, like we are all trailblazers in our own way, doing things different, doing things new. Like, I don't think you have that opportunity in family medicine anymore to come out and create something new, a new technique. Like, I think everything is done already in family medicine versus in injectables. You can find a new way to treat a patient and combine modalities to give different results that maybe someone else hasn't seen, right? Like, I just feel like
Yeah.
we're so new in this business that we're allowed to honestly do whatever we want for the patient to be best and kind of make a name for ourselves with that. I don't know. As I say, I think it's very, very cool industry.
Yeah, I do too. How do you feel like you're evolving the space and making a name for yourself? What do you think sets you apart?
I mean, I think it's crazy how it all began and how where I am from where I was. Um, it's interesting when, and someone told me forever ago when I went to a training, the best thing you can do is tailor your craft, treat your patients, and keep your head down, right? Don't listen to the noise, keep treating your patients, do what's right for the patient, but don't listen to the noise. Don't look around who's doing what. Don't like look at other people's social medias to like, get jealous over people or anything like that. That was way in the beginning of my career. And when that happened and I kept my head down, I looked up out of nowhere. I'm in a 16-room med spa now and I have a training academy. And I think it's because I really like to educate, but I also like to do different techniques. Everything I do is different. And I think that's why how I do my neurotoxin placement for some reason is way different than other people. I don't know why, but it's what I've tailorized throughout the years. And I didn't even know I was doing it different until I started training everyone at like gain trainings and realized my placement has been different and it works. So I do think putting your head down and focusing on the patient has allowed me to make different techniques that have given, I think, great results and my patients very satisfied and kind of bringing everything together, multimodality, but also in one treatment, like doing threads, doing sculpture, doing filler, doing tox in one sitting, and adding a laser. Like I try to maximize the time that I have with my patients, but it comes with just, I think, understanding what they need. And I do think that's probably what made people notice me more because I do think my before and afters, I show that it's multimodality and it does give better on just to see that the whole face is changing versus just lips, like a lip before and after. But then you look at their under eyes are so bad or their jawline. Like there's certain things that you need to address before you post it, right? And I think that we get hyper focused on one thing and we're not looking at the whole picture. So I think maybe that's why. I don't know.
How do you feel like your style of treating the patients has evolved since you started? Has it always been the exact same, or have you changed things up?
Absolutely. I think I'm ever evolving. Every time I even do a training, I said, I'm training on you right now, but who knows what's going to happen 6 months or a year? It might be a different technique. I have changed my technique so many times. And that's why I think it's so vital that people take multi courses, like 4 courses a year. Then you're going to keep up with it because if you ask any injector, no one's still injecting the same way they did 5 years ago. I would say if I looked at what I was doing 5 years ago, I'd probably die a little inside. Everything has changed, and so has the industry.
Why though? Why do you think you would die inside? Because isn't
Oh,
that what
because
was
I was
just
doing
happening and that was the
no,
trend? And
I don't think I understood what I was doing with anatomy. I think I thought I
mm,
knew anatomy, and then I realized when I first started my career, I was doing radius, just needle on bone on the periosteum and the chin and the piriform and on the temples because everyone said it would be fine. And hey, it can be fine for other people. But I now know having an ultrasound and ultrasounding my patients that it's a very high risk area. So if you're not ultrasounding, you can be placing right on to an artery or compressing an artery. So I that's why I cringe because I see myself injecting in videos from 2021 and
Hmm.
I'm in areas where I shouldn't be injecting, but that was just how it was. So I think that's why I cringe.
Do you think that 2031 Nina will look back at 2026 Nina, 5 years removed again, because we're talking about a difference of five, and she will cringe? Or do you feel like it will be a different reaction?
Probably cringe. I feel like it's always evolving. You have to think about it. Like, we know only what we know now, right? And we are trying to keep up with anatomy and ultrasound. We're doing everything right. I do think we're 10 times better than we were before. We weren't ultrasounding. In 2021, no one talked about ultrasounding, and now we're ultrasounding. More practices are adopting that practice before placing filler. Like, I think probably 2030, what you said, 2031, we'll probably have a new way of doing things. There'll probably be another form of a biostimulant that's better. I don't know, maybe a new filler, but
Will AI humanoids be injecting in
exactly. Are
2031?
we going to even be here? I don't know. We'll see. But I would say I think we're doing the best that we can with the tools that we have. I mean, if you don't have an ultrasound, you should get an ultrasound. If you're injecting and you don't know where you're injecting or where the blood vessels are, you should know that by now. Like, I think we have now taken a turn that anatomy is first, understanding the patient's face, understanding that a paint by numbers injecting method doesn't work anymore. I think we are all evolving with that. So I think we're doing the best we can.
Do you think that the tools that we have today are enough to create the results that you in your dream injection world would be able to do, or do you feel like something's missing?
I
Like
mean,
we have, you're talking about ultrasound a lot, right? You have
yeah,
ultrasound, and you know all the facial anatomy. You've done all the, you're doing a cadaver course in 3 weeks. You said
yes.
at iConcierge, like you know where all the muscles are, you know what they do, you know the behaviors of them, what's possible, generally speaking, because of all the patients you've seen. You've talked to other trainers. You've had all this experience now, and even still, you do need a tool like the ultrasound in order to see, hey, where are the dang arteries?
Mm-hmm.
Where is everything? Where's the bone? Exactly. How, because everybody has different skin depth, right? But is there still a tool missing that you wish that you had?
That's a very good question. I mean, I feel like we're at the point with all the multimodality we have, we're addressing so many things. I feel like when I think about what I'm missing, I mean, I love combining my threads. That's what I'm getting the lift with the ligaments. I love the sculpture because I'm building the biostimulant. And we're getting results are surgical. And then we have the resurfacing agent. I would say the one thing we would need would probably be somehow to restore the fat in the neck. I feel like that is the one thing when I look at faces and we're doing everything. I'm lifting the neck, I'm tightening the neck. Yes, you can do like a collagen wash, but I feel like we need something more there. And I know there's like remove.
More than just hyperdilute radius or Sculptra
Yeah,
or
I feel like we need something more for the neck. And we could do lasers and we can resurface and all these things, but we're starting to notice if you do too much radio frequency in the neck, we're causing scarring in that area. So I get good results with the neck tightening, but I wonder if there's something more we can do. But I don't know.
hmm.
I'm trying to think what other device. I love the ultrasound.
It's
Ooh.
an interesting question. It's almost like you have to just make it up and
Well,
say,
it's
"Oh, it would be amazing to have that."
I saw. What if, what if we create a little wand that can detect if there's filler underneath the skin? And it would be something that can read like the hyaluronic acid molecules. Ah, so you can have that, place it over, maybe it be connected to an ultrasound, but it be smart enough to understand that there's filler molecules that you can dissolve.
Similar to a metal detector on the beach,
Yes.
a filler detector for the face.
Yep. Yep, but
Hmm.
then that way it becomes easier to understand where filler is placed. And yes, you can ultrasound guide. Like we kind of have that with ultrasound guided injections, but I wonder if there's a way to do it quicker or like in the beginning of a consultation. I don't know.
Hmm.
I think that would be something to think about.
That would be something. I expect an update in 6 months from you on how development of your filler finder is
A
going.
little finger, like you put it on your glove finger and you like press here and then it'll say like beep 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 beep. Mm.
And it's connected to a device that tracks all of the data with AI, and it tells you how much you should use and where.
Ooh, I change it. What about if you can scan the face, right? And it'll say how much collagen is in the subcutaneous space, right? You do your
Mm,
biostimulants, and then 6 weeks later, you say, "Oh, beep 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 beep. Oh, we grew a lot." Mm.
that would be very cool. Hopefully, Galderma or Allergan get on
I
creating
gotta
that
get something
device.
on that.
You need to
Icon
bring it up to them. You need to
ultra.
bring it up to them. Yes. Next question. How do you feel like, because you're very busy, and do you want to tell everybody how busy you are, or should we just leave it at that, that you're a very busy person?
I'm busy. I mean, yeah, I triple book, quad book sometimes. I have 2 children. I work
And
Monday through
triple, you
Friday.
have two children, your husband is in the business, you're working 5, 6 days a week. When you say triple and quadruple book, though, what does that mean?
It's very much utilizing my schedule as best as I can. So I work the schedule. If a patient comes in and they have paperwork, I'll set them in the room. I'll have my SD go in, do a skin consult, and
Hmm.
I basically with another patient at that time, probably doing talk something quick. And then I'm prepping for them, go in the room, SC finishes, I'll start the consultation process. I like to have a good 30 minutes with a consultation. I do want that for most of my
You personally.
yeah, yeah. For me, I like to have a 30-minute consultation. The reason being is because that is my most important time with the patient. Most of my
Yep.
patients know that that's when I do the treatment building. That's how I make sure that they get everything done. But when
Yeah.
I'm quad booking or triple booking, most of the times it's because one person's numbing, one person's doing talks, but the consultation always gets the most from me. And the ones that are getting the treatments in between are ones that have a full treatment plan and they know I'm going to come in, do their talks, talk to them, get everything going, and then go over, do Sculptra. Sculptra's nice and quick. I'll do Sculptra. If that patient wants that add on, I do allow add ons. Most of my patients, I may have taught that, which may not be the best, but I try to make sure that every need is met in each appointment.
So when you have someone with a treatment plan and you have three people waiting at the same time, you're not doing a 30-minute consultation every time they come in because you already have the plan, right?
Right, and we can always change it. But it's basically, if you look at my schedule, I have them blocked for 30 minutes each
Yep.
patient. And when they're coming in, it's basically we understand if they come in, I'll say hi, I'll get the numbing cream going, and then I'll phase
And
out.
and a medical assistant or your esthetician, someone is doing the numbing cream. Somebody's going through
I
part of
try
that
to
first
get
process.
that comes in right away in the beginning, and then my medical assistant will help me with numbing. I'll say, okay,
Yep.
I let them know. My patients know. I say, okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna hop real quick over, and we're gonna let you numb for 15 minutes. Do you want like Gossip Girl on TV? Do you want a Pellegrino? Let me know what you need. And then I walk out and I let them, I am fully transparent and I never let patients wait more than 15 minutes. So the big
Hmm.
thing is no waiting. It's just making sure that it runs like a smooth machine when someone comes in. Like I don't want it to be that people are waiting for too long. And it's because I try to book it
Yeah.
in a
It's
way
like
that makes
it's like a
sense.
game of Tetris
It's
where you're
100%
fitting all the pieces together. I
like
feel like
don't have
I
someone be late.
yeah, I feel like it's an art to be able to balance that much at the same time every day. If you have that many people coming in every day that you specifically are seeing, it takes a lot of logistical execution in order to do that. How do you make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible? Obviously, there are variables like the biggest one is the time the patient comes in compared to when they're scheduled to come in. If they're there early, it's not really a problem. It's a
We
good
love
thing. We
Love
love
her.
early patients. So if you're one of Nina's patients, please come early every time or come on time. But if everybody's 5 to 10 to 15 minutes late, it causes a rift, or how are you this is the business side that I want to share. Like, how are you
That's
able to actually still pull all the strings together so that it creates the masterpiece at the end of the day and everybody was treated well and they come back?
It's definitely an art, I will say. And it's also, if that happens, it's happened multiple times where it doesn't work out exactly as planned. The big thing is on how it works well is prep. I do prep. I right before, like the night before, I look who's coming in. I have a game plan of how it should work.
Mm-hmm.
Big
Yeah.
thing, morning huddles, meetings with the team to understand what needs to be done. I think that would not work if you're not organized prior to. So I
Yeah.
think that's the big thing. And I do think comes from family medicine background. I prepped all my charts the day before, night before. So I knew I was going into. So if there is an additional person added on, that's just one new person. I need to look at the forms and make sure everything's right. But if you have prep prior to and you know what you're doing and you make sure that treatment plan is what they want, you really, it's not that hard to go in, speak with your patients, make sure they're all happy and everything's good, and then get what they need because you have that in your head. I think it's like you know what's going to be happening. And if it does get delayed, we still figure it out because somehow it works out because we'll put someone else in that spot. If they're running late, somehow the next person comes early. I'm going to push that one up and then I'll move that one over. Like it works out and you have a
Yeah.
prep all my stuff beforehand. I draw all the talks up. I draw all the sculpture up. I draw all the, like, I have the filler ready to go. So it's like I just have my trays
Mm.
and ties and ready to go.
So you outsource to your team the things that you personally don't have to do.
Yes.
That's how it's done.
Yeah, well, it's mainly everyone. I love my team, and everyone knows that it gets hectic, especially in the middle of the day. You can feel it happening, but we know from going into the morning what's going to be the crazy time. When can people not be on lunches, right? Like, where do we need all hands on deck? And I think
Mm-hmm.
having that understanding prior to the day starting, it doesn't get as crazy as it looks. Like if you look at my
Mm.
schedule, it looks overwhelming, but it is that everyone knows where they need to be during that time. And it really does help having amazing support staff and also having providers who can jump in and like increase the appointment for the patient, having an esthetician come in and do a skincare consult or add on a, let's just say, God forbid, someone comes late, ruins the whole day, that could also be the patient that may be waiting that wanted a facial. And then Jasmine can pull them in and do a facial if she has the time. And then it ends up being that they get way more to their treatment plan and they get things done. So I don't, I feel like you
So
can
did you hear that? If you're late, you ruin the day.
figure it out. I mean, I've had it. So
I'm just joking.
and I hope this patient doesn't mind me calling him out. I had
Just
recently,
don't say any names and they won't know you're talking about them.
but I had a patient that flew in for treatment, I believe from Texas, and her flight got delayed. And she was a thread and Sculptra patient who blocked me for like an hour, but she flew in 2 hours late. So I had to figure out how to find a spot to put this hour patient. And we worked it out. Again, it's all about being honest to the patient. Like, hey, like I'll figure it out. Obviously, you flew in for treatment. We're gonna figure out how I can get you into the schedule. I have patients right now, and we just have to move things around. It works out.
Yeah.
That got treated. She looked amazing. One of my results I posted, but it is something that like it's the art of doing medicine, right? Like we have to know
Yeah.
how to make sure that the most important thing is that the patient feels taken care of and the patient doesn't feel the stress. I always tell the team they better not feel stressed, right? Because you're stressed. If you're stressed up front, running around, everyone's running around, it's not a good feeling for the patient. So we have to make sure everyone knows that this is just how everything goes and we are just fluid through the motion.
Do you talk to other med spa owners about your operation?
Yeah, they think I'm crazy.
Why do they think you're crazy?
Well, I have really good friends too in the industry. I do think that as a owner, I do see a lot of patients, and as an owner of a
Is that
business,
why they think you're crazy? Because you see a lot of people, or?
I think it's that I'm still double booking and I'm still doing Monday through Saturday and I'm still like working this hard in the business and seeing patients. But for me, I'm gonna do it because I really actually like doing treatments. I want to have my business and I love owning a business, but I also really, if I had to pick or choose, I'd be injecting. I would rather be maximizing my time injecting. I feel good at the end of the day when I know that I treated 15 patients, or let's just say 10 complex patients. Like I do feel good at the end of the day. But I do think a lot
Yeah.
of business owners, friends will say that every time I talk to them that I'm doing too much in the schedule and I need to basically take a day for admin and take a lunch, figure out.
You know what I admire though about you is that you pay attention to what you want and what you like, and you like what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So what this is a good lesson that someone may think that you're crazy for, and
I
I put
hear
that in
that.
air quotes.
Right.
I don't think you're crazy. I think that you're actually smart for doing it this way. And I think you're very sane. If you don't want to take a lunch, don't.
Right. I mean,
Do
I just
I
what I could be doing during that hour.
do I think it's healthy to not take a lunch break every day? It actually doesn't matter what I think. It
I'll survive.
doesn't. It doesn't. You're surviving. Hopefully you go to the bathroom, right? Like hopefully there's time to do that. Who knows? We don't need to go there, but you just think like these things that you have to be able to fit in according to what everyone else's standards and belief about how to run and own a med spa are. But in reality, there's no rules, there's no guidelines, there's no right or wrong way to do this. I think what you said is absolutely beautiful. As long as you're taking care of the patient, that is really all that matters. That's how you grow a business. And it
Hmm.
doesn't matter if you're doing that for 3 patients a day because you spent 2.5 hours with each one, or you're doing it for 15.
Right.
If everyone feels taken care, right, am I wrong? I
Right.
don't,
No, I agree.
maybe I am. Maybe to some people, I'm wrong. But,
I just think that there's some people who get into the business that they think that this is going to be a better quality of life and that they think that they can work like one day a week and run a
and
business.
make twice to 3 times as much money
And
on,
that's,
and you
I
can't.
I tell them every time that if you think that you are doing this for a better quality of life, I don't think you're going to be successful. You can do it on the side and maybe inject a couple of people on the weekend, but you're not going to
Yeah,
probably make what you think you're going to make. The people
yeah,
who make good money in it work hard, right? Like I work hard for every dollar I get, but it's also because
sure.
I love what I do, but I also know that that's what you have to do. You have to make yourself available. Like I know injectors who only have 2 or 3 days open for injecting. I've always been from the beginning of when I started, I was actually Monday through Sunday. I was Monday through Sunday available to book because I was trying to
Yeah.
get any patient that wanted to come see me. I wanted to be available, right? So if you're wanting to grow your business, like only give them 2 days and it's like a 12 to 2 period or 12 to 4 period, like I don't understand how you're going to build a clientele because you have no availability.
I would say from my experience, most injectors, we'll stick with injectors, are open in a combination like what you're saying compared to what you are. So like I don't think anybody that I've interviewed has is available and works as much as you do treating patients. I think you're but I'm this is a guess. I think you're doing the most. I do think that
And I'll probably settle down soon. It probably will.
maybe, but who knows? Who knows? It doesn't it's neither here nor there. But I feel like you're right when you're really thinking about it. Are you just burned out from aesthetics in general, and that's why people are only working 3 or 4 days and they're working 4 to 5 hours a day? Are you scared to go all in on aesthetics and to really like try to grow your business? Are you scared to do the Botox parties?
Well, and
And why?
my question to them is if you were full-time in any other career, you'd be doing 40 hours.
Right? Or
So why are
more?
why are we not doing 40 hours anymore? So like
Yeah.
40 hours, you're going from hospital field, you're doing 40, 50 hours, family medicine, 40, 50 hours. All of a sudden you go into aesthetics and you think you're going to do 12. I don't understand.
It's an interesting concept that and phenomenon that's happening here because it is real, and I think that a lot of people do think this way. And I do know people who work nonstop and they're in NP school and they have children. Like there are people that I know that are like you that are doing the most that they possibly can as well. I just think that it's important that everyone pay attention to how they feel when they're working.
Right.
I do with my business,
Do it, right? Like if you're tired and you feel like it's draining you,
rest.
then don't do it. Like, but if you feel like
Yeah,
you have energy to keep seeing patients and giving yourself out to patients, do it. I think that's my whole thing is I love knowing that I've treated that many patients and that many patients are happy and it feels fulfilling to me. If I was at home during like half of the week not doing that, I know how I am. Weekends are hard for me. I have to do something to feel accomplished. I just know that
yeah,
maybe I won't always be this way, and maybe it's gonna
you
start slipping
will.
down.
You will.
I that fire, and if you don't have that
Yeah,
fire for patience, I I don't know. I just think that you should feel always so good after you do a treatment with a patient, and that feeling
yeah.
of fulfillment.
And I think that you can develop that. I think that it stems from what you are doing. For example, I used to work at a grocery store. I was an assistant store manager straight out of college. I was working 55 hours a week minimum plus drive time.
Hmm.
And I was exhausted. I was exhausted. I was burned out. My body was physically breaking down for real. It was
Oh
like
man.
my sciatica pain was so bad that it took me 5 minutes before I could stand up straight after I would drive into work. It was that
Oh,
bad. But then when I started doing influencer marketing, and this was 2013, I left the grocery industry and I started to do influencer marketing for a little startup. And I was working even more, but it was
well,
exciting and I was
right.
filled up by it.
But it's different. It's different. It's
I
different,
still
right?
had to eat because I am a monster and I can't not eat. But, I'm glad that you're able to do that. That's good for you.
I mean,
I
I
had to take,
don't get me wrong, I love food, but I feel like just like you said, when you're doing something you really like to do the time, and I know this sounds so
it just
cheesy,
goes. No, no,
listen,
it just goes.
but it's true. I feel like it goes by quickly, but also you have this like inner energy that wants to do it, right? So God forbid I look at my schedule and I don't see that many people on it. I spiral. I spiral. I go, how can I get more people in or move them up? Like luckily, like it's not a big thing that happens, but the girls know if someone like no shows me, I am spiraling. So what happens is I'll probably inject one in their faces. Like I just feel like I need to do something. And it's because it's the passion. You feel like you're getting fulfilled from every treatment. Like what you're saying, like you're doing something that you're feeling that you're putting your talent in, you're putting your artwork in, right? You're doing stuff that's kind of like a creative outlet. Like this is like a creative outlet. If I would say a hobby, I'd say injecting is my hobby now.
It's almost like I feel like you can do this. I feel like anyone could do this with anything, not anything, but anything that they ended up loving. And I
Right.
feel like the title of this could be something like Never Work a Day Again in Your Life When You Love What You Do. Something simple and cheesy like that. But it's not, but it really is simple. And we have an example, Nina, you of what
No.
you're able to build and create and how you're able to feel fulfilled when you build something you love. Did you feel this way when you were doing family medicine?
No.
No? Okay.
So
And there's
I feel
nothing
like
wrong with people that do family medicine.
but
There,
it's also
there's
like you know you're and I feel like the person, if someone's listening, this is probably to them. If you feel like you're counting the hours of when you're clocking out, you got to figure out something else. Because if that's what you're doing, like I remember doing that where I was like, oh, okay, it's 12 o'clock. That means I have 5 more hours. And then with like 3 o'clock, okay, I have 2 more hours. Like if you're doing that in your head, you're probably not where you need to be.
Yeah, you're definitely not where you need to be.
Or I don't even notice that like I go over and I'm supposed to be done at 7. Sometimes and the girls know I'll be here till 9. Like I end up staying later all the time and it's because my patient added on or did something new. Like I'm okay with that because it's again, I don't care about the time.
Yeah. I think you're lucky that you've found something that you love to do as much as you do. And I admire that you take it so seriously and really give it everything that you feel you should. I think that that is rare. I think it's rare because most of the time we're doing things to make money. Yeah,
Mm,
you're making money, that's obvious. You're treating as many patients as you are, like it's assumed that you're making a great amount of money from doing that. But
but that's not the point,
it's
right?
it's not the point with you, and I can tell that because you're not going to stick around until 9 o'clock sometimes with people or charting or doing whatever you're doing that late if you don't actually care about the people. You just don't sacrifice that. You're in and out and you don't think about it when you're away. That's the difference, right?
Mm,
So I think it's amazing. If somebody wants to book with you, what do they do? How do they get a hold of you?
So for me,
Stand outside and wait.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes there's a wait list. I have obviously a booking link, my website, iconciergemetspa.com, booking with Boulevard or phone number 727-295-6779. I have all different outlets. Instagram too, we have a little link tree for booking, all the things.
Okay. All right. And yeah, I'm excited to pick it outside of your location if I ever make it out to St. Pete and hope that you can squeeze me in somehow and maybe me and Nick will go get lunch or something and we'll bring it back for you and just pass it to you on the way.
Well, you know what I think is so funny is you asked me, the first question was, so you're busy, right? And then you said, do you want I said, nah. And
And
then we
then
talked
sorry, what was that?
40
What
minutes.
did you say?
I said, then you asked me if I want to talk about being busy. And I said, no. And then we talked for 40 minutes about being busy.
No, that wasn't talking about being busy.
I'm
This episode is a no, it's
kidding.
not. This
Kidding.
episode is about falling in love with what you're doing and like
I completely
actually
agree.
doing it. Because think about it. If you are complacent, being stuck, and just getting through whatever it is that you do, that's a really crappy life.
Right. Right. You hear about
In
all the
in
time.
in every aspect of what it could be. That's a really crappy way to live.
And also, what are you giving to the community then? Because you're giving half yourself because you're not fully in it, right? Like, what is your imprint on the community if you're not doing what you should be doing? Because that's not what you should be doing.
I agree. Have some passion.
Right, right. Like, be a positive part, right? Like, make an imprint. Are
Mm,
you an imprint? Are people going to remember you when you're gone? Or are you just someone that's like clocking in and clocking out?
we need the people who clock in and clock out,
No.
but
Also, be
also
about it. You can be
be
passionate about
passionate.
you could be a janitor and be passionate about it, right? Like, not saying anything about my janitors, but like, like make sure you're not doing something just to do the motion and then wait. The problem is if you're counting down the hours to clock out, you're also counting down time, and time is the most valuable thing we have. So now we're at the point where you've been in a career for 20 years and you've been just doing that, and now you're 20 years older and you want to do something else. I don't know. I think it's gotta have a come to Jesus moment if that's what's happening.
I agree. I think we all can reflect on that from time to time. And if we feel like we need to make a change, we just have to do it. There's
Exactly.
no there's no amount of time that has to go by in between when you
If
desire
you
to make a change for when you start.
Great, but also the big thing is for injectors especially, do the trainings, do the stuff to
Do the
educate.
trainings.
sure, if you're gonna do it the right way. Spend all your like efforts into being the best. Being
Yeah.
the best could be for your patients and not for like the outward appearance. Like I put my head down and worked. I did not look at social media. Like I'm not that person that's looking at other influencers or whatever they are. I'm working on my patients and making the best treatments for them. I'm doing my trainings with all the people I can think of to be the best for my patients, right? So I think that's what is really important is if you're going to do it and you're going to invest your life into something to make sure you go out there and you book the trainings with as many people as you can so that you can get the best at your craft that you can. As we said, I love what I do. But 5 years ago, I would not probably be doing how I was doing injections then, right? But I still loved what I was doing. I just now love it more because I know I've grown in my technique from investing in all of my trainings. So I think that's the big tool too. It's like if you do
Yeah.
have passion in it, make sure you invest in your passion, invest in what you're doing.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Nina, for the thought
Of course.
provocations tonight.
Oh man, I'll get off my little soapbox.
No, don't get off of it ever. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Nina, for your time.
Thank you so much.
And until next time, take care of yourself, everybody.
Thank you.